gentlemen, you're back. You're listening to the Shoot Brothers Wrestling Podcast. That's us. This is me, Cameron Osborne. I'm here. I'm one of the hosts. I'm one of the co-hosts. The other co-host, he's sitting right across from me. His name is Mike the Shoot Shepherd.
And we're dancing, and we're back.
And we're dancing, and we're back. That is right, folks. Another week of the show. I think this is episode 158, I believe. I'm going to lose count eventually. This is a professional wrestling podcast, so we talk about professional wrestling and nothing else. Mike, I do not care about how your new Xbox Series X is. I don't want you to tell me about how much faster it is, I'm sure.
It's humming. Like, yeah. Oh, wait, you don't want to know.
I don't want to know, because this is only, unless you're talking about playing WWE 2K22.
No. I'm waiting for the AEW video game.
I know. You know what I just thought about the other day? I pictured some video game programming nerd who's been spending like a month and a half just making John Morrison's hair look right.
Oh yeah.
And then and because you know the people at 2K, they're hearing the information just like us. They're opening up Twitter and then they see hashtag WWE releases and they're thinking, uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I would always hear for a holiday video game, they would always have to have the rosters locked up by like April. So that's like half the roster that's been released since then.
There's been like 60 people in that past. I'm sure someone spent a lot of hours working on Lil Presley.
Yeah. No, I saw some, like the latest WWE action figure line that came out. Like half the guys don't even work there. It's like The Fiend, Scarlett, and a couple others. John Morrison.
Oh, the action figures. I mean, because there's a mold that's put into place. There's paint. There's like other decisions which go into it, which is a great way to bring us to crowning our very first brand new champion of the week. So let's get into it. Let's get into crowning a brand new Tweet of the Week champion. It's the Tweet of the Week. It's the Tweet of the Week. Because, like you said, the releases are on everyone's mind. You know, they always are. We here at the show are terrified that something will happen.
We could be next.
We could be next. But this week's brand new Tweet of the Week champion goes to a name that you actually just mentioned yourself. Recently, really see Scarlett.
Hey.
Scarlett Bordeaux. Who said on Twitter, because right now Mattel just actually posted that you can pre-order your ringside collectible Scarlett action figure, complete with hourglass and, a little hat to make her look like a queen. And Scarlett Bordeaux replied to the tweet saying, "Hey, 3 action figures in less than 2 years with no matches isn't too shabby." I didn't realize that she, I guess that the fact that she never had a match kind of moved past me.
Yeah. I mean, I was always expecting it was going to happen, but I guess I never really thought at the end there. I mean, Michael Cole's had a match, for God's sakes. So.
Even Mike, I wonder if she's had more matches, Michael Cole or Scarlett. Yeah, we'll find when her last match was, but it would have been pre-WWE. But hey, you don't have to have a match to be a Tweet of the Week champion. So Scarlett Bordeaux, you're walking away with this one.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll be walking into another company sooner or later.
Yeah, I wonder who wants Karrion Kross.
Well, I feel like they're a package deal.
Certainly a package deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Because to me, Karrion Kross sort of falls into this thing like similar to a Braun Strowman thing. You think somebody pushed as hard as Braun Strowman would be up and rocking right now in one of these other promotions. But so far, sporadic appearances here and there, nothing too concrete.
Yeah, we shall see. I mean, that could be Vince McMahon's deep strategy at the end. It's like, if I just release so many talents, Tony can't sign them all or he'll bleed himself dry. I don't know.
I mean, that does make sense, but yeah, I think we can see right here there are some talents that have not been signed by AEW at all. So, it might backfire on them.
A couple big names, but we'll see. We'll see. But shall we get into the wrestling week?
Let's get into the wrestling week because we're hot off the heels of Survivor Series. I guess, still. As the year moves on, we have no pay-per-view in December. We're building up to that day one, year one thing. But let's cover Friday night's side of Survivor Series with a little bit of SmackDown Live. Okay, folks, it's Friday night. It's time for SmackDown Live. It used to be on Tuesday, but then I think it was on Friday before, though. No, wait, they used to film it on a Thursday and then release it. It's just SmackDown Live. Because Roman Reigns right now is coming off of a clean middle-of-the-ring victory over Big E in our Survivor Series main event. I can't think of a pay-per-view whose main event would not be Roman Reigns.
Yeah, most of them.
And it's up to us to find out who's the next challenger to maybe step up to the plate, maybe. I think someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it for this day one show. So Kayla Braxton's in the ring, and she goes to announce that Brock Lesnar's suspension has... Oh, but then Roman Reigns interrupts. Don't get to hear what she says. Paul Heyman just berates Kayla, kicks her out of the ring. Crowd chants, "We want Brock!" Roman cuts a promo, says, "I beat Big E. I can beat anyone. Doesn't matter." But, yeah, that was the opening segment.
Yeah, a little head of the table opening seg. Not too much to take away from here. But, I don't know. Roman Reigns still seems to be our champion. Doesn't seem like he's going to lose anytime soon.
No, but they did announce that our main event, we're going to have a Black Friday Invitational Battle Royal, where the winner is going to get that next title shot against Roman. So
fantastic. Yeah, maybe the one at year one or day one. I'm going to keep calling it year one. Or maybe just something else.
Yeah. I mean, this should be the Usos pay-per-view, because aren't they the day one-ish?
Day one-ish. Oh, that was like 4 gimmicks ago.
Down since? Yeah. Huh? Well, let's move on, because we got Jeff Hardy and Drew McIntyre teaming up against my most hated team currently in all of wrestling, but not for any good reason. Not for any heel reason. I just hate these guys. Happy and Madcap. Bunch of fucking losers. Anyways, the match was okay. Crowd likes cheering for Jeff and Drew, so that's fine. Eventually, Drew hits a Claymore. Hardy hits a Swanton. The good guys get the win.
Good guys get the win because Baron Corbin has to be on television. Of course, right? Like this has not stopped for years.
It's not stopped. He's been the constable. He's been the king. He's been the happy. He was the broke guy for a little bit. But he's always Corbin. He's always
himself, to say nothing else.
When the bell rings, he's pretty much the same as always.
Jeff Hardy's kind of hot streak continues.
Yeah, and he's pulling double duty. He'll be in that battle royal later.
But I don't know. Hardy's hot streak leads me to believe that he would be a perfect kind of top contender for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I think, this little run he's having here, the crowd's so behind him. He's obviously not going to win the title, but he's certainly worthy of a shot.
I think so.
But let's go to Cesaro taking on Ridge Holland, finally making his SmackDown in-ring debut almost 2 months after being drafted. And, we saw him in NXT, so looking pretty good here. Roughs up Cesaro, but he gets a little too cocky. Cesaro catches him with a nice little pin to get him for the 3.
Yeah, quick 3. Bad quick loss for that Madcap. What do you used to call him? Ridge Holland?
Ridge Holland?
Yeah.
Well, he's still Ridge Holland.
Yeah.
But that was that. Then we get Rick Boogs taking on Angel. No more Garza. But this is not a regular match. This is a Thanksgiving leftover throwdown match. Because I guess the Thanksgiving was the night before back in the old USA.
Yes, of course, because Thursday, and then they kind of, I think, just take the whole week off.
Yeah. So, they had a big table full of Thanksgiving food all spread out. And, Boogs just showing off his strength, just tossing Angel all around with ease. But then Humberto Carrillo jumps up, grabs his guitar, jumps on the food table, and just starts strumming messily at this thing. No rhythm here.
Oh, and has no clue what he's doing.
Yeah. He's like a 2-year-old just picking up and going blah, blah, blah. So Nakamura runs up, kicks out his legs, which causes Carrillo to fall through the table. Food everywhere. And the distraction allows Angel to hit a super kick. And then the wing clipper, Angel gets the win. So Nakamura's thing didn't even help.
Nakamura's thing didn't even help. I think this was one of those things where we get this for Thanksgiving, we get this for all the food-related holidays, or even non-food related holidays. The show of the day or the day before, you have to have a gimmicked match, which is the Thanksgiving leftovers, the trick or treat. You have one Christmas related. Like anytime there's that holiday associated with the thing, Valentine's Day, chocolate. I don't know. It's all going to work. And kind of like at the end of this whole card, I guess I'm glad it was this one. Like this match was the the gimmick, the holiday gimmick match. You should just call it a holiday gimmick match.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's it. They're all the same, just different food items. Sometimes you get punched in.
Just different food items. That's literally all the differences. But
yeah, but we weren't quite done with that yet, though, because Michael Cole comes out to interview Charlotte Flair, and she's disappointed at the poor officiating at Survivor Series, missing that. Becky's grabbing the ropes there for the 3 count, but Toni Storm comes out to interrupt. She wants a piece of the champ, and Charlotte's just like, no way, you're not even on my level. She takes a swing, but Toni dumps Charlotte to the floor. She goes after her, but then Charlotte just nails Toni in the face with the old pie to the face, a real pie, pumpkin pie. And then Toni just stands there and takes another one. She hits her with a second pie, which I don't know.
Pies?
I didn't like this. Bad luck for Toni. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, after she stood there taking the second pie, that's when I was a little bit confused.
Yeah, I didn't. That was dumb.
No, well,
it was dumb.
Because we're probably talking Toni Storm to be our number one contender for Charlotte, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, he was pretty good at Survivor Series, but yeah, I don't know. The stupid pie.
Yeah.
Do that to someone like Otis or something. Then he licks his lips.
Yeah,
because
then he wants to be pied in the face.
Yeah. Toni, we're just establishing her. But, oh, well, whatever. If she gets a title shot, it'll be fun.
I guess it all works out.
But let's continue with the women's action. We got some tag team wrestling. Shayna Baszler and Natalya taking on Sasha Banks and Naomi. At one point, and then Natalya drops Naomi hard on the floor, and she just lands in the splits. She's, that's the cheerleading background there. But, she fights back. She hits a sunset flip on Natalya, holds her down, gets the 3 count. So big win. Well, not a big win, but a win for Naomi and Sasha.
A win. Just a win.
Mm-hmm. It's not like they're going to be going for those tag titles because no one even cares about those.
Yeah, I still kind of forget who the champions are.
Yeah. But let's move on to the main event. It's Black Friday. We got that Battle Royal, as we promised you. Big prize on the line. Universal title shot. But one of the storylines was Drew McIntyre was not booked in this match. He was talking to Adam Pearce. He's like, what the fuck's going on here? So he's pissed. He comes out with his sword, and he's just swinging it around like a madman. Adam Pearce runs out. He's like, bro, you're out of here. So he's kicked out. And then, it was kind of weird because we just had a big battle royal on the pay-per-view a couple days before this, and just coming back with another one. But, no Omos this time, so other guys had a chance.
Well, yeah, and this was the SmackDown exclusive crew, though.
That's true, right? Yeah. So, you had, guys like Cesaro, Ricochet, Sammy, a bunch of jobbers. Corbin betrays Madcap. He eliminated him.
Shanky, not Veer. It was Shanky.
Yeah. Also, Corbin's got a little mustache going on now. Looks, it's a dirty in a bad way. It's a
dirt stash.
But dirt stash. But anyways, the match comes down to Corbin, Sheamus, and Jeff Hardy. Corbin eliminates Sheamus, but then Hardy eliminates Corbin. They play his music. He's celebrating. Jeff looks like he's won. His swan song continues. But wait, Sami Zayn, he's been waiting outside the ring. He was never eliminated. Comes in, dumps Hardy to the floor, and Sami Zayn, with one of the biggest wins of his WWE career, getting a Universal title shot. I hope.
Possibly the biggest. I mean, yeah, it's like you just say, I hope.
Because, yeah, I mean, he's been screwed over. That's part of his gimmick, is all the conspiracies. And, just a few days prior on Monday Night Raw, Vince McMahon screwed him out of a WWE title shot. So,
yeah.
Anyways, Sami Zayn got the big win here. Kayla Braxton interviews him. But then she receives breaking news that next week on SmackDown, Brock Lesnar is going to appear. And that's what makes me a little bit worried about Sami Zayn not getting his opportunity.
Yeah, just everything. The way that it was I would not be surprised if his title shot disappeared. Especially, I think we were in North Carolina on this show. Jeff Hardy's home. It just felt like, and then also Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns. Who's our babyface there?
Yeah.
Or is that just one of those hard-fought matches between two people? I don't know.
I hope so. And could be, maybe Sammy's last match in WWE.
It could be, yeah. Almost giving him this Kevin Owens style treatment.
Yeah, but either way, I like that he won the Battle Royal. They can't take that away from him, and hopefully they don't take the title shot away.
Hopefully they don't. I can't imagine, but they might, because you never know. That was all of SmackDown, though.
Yeah.
So Brock Lesnar's coming back. Did Kayla say next week, or she just said the suspension is lifted?
And then at the end of the show, I think she said next week.
She did say next week? Oh, okay. So. Yeah. I mean, God, is that what takes us?
I mean, I feel like they won't do that match. I think they could save that till the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Lesnar versus Reigns, and then maybe we do get Sami Reigns at day one. But who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's hard to see Roman Reigns though now. Probably 450 days plus as Universal Champion.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna go.
That's a long time.
Yeah. I think he's going till WrestleMania and maybe beyond. If they want to wait for The Rock to come back.
Well, as soon as you said that Rock thing, I was like, I guess he's holding it for another Mania. It's gonna be an Okada style reign of 700 plus days.
It could be, unless they want to do the big ultimate swerve. Sami Zayn wins the title, loses it back the next week.
That'd be big because 700 days would be the longest. Kind of, modern-ish reign, I mean, at least since Hulk would have had, he had it there for, kind of late 80s and onward, 700 days would beat the record by a fucking mile.
Yeah, and I mean, at the rate he's going, I mean, he's got a chance, so.
Yeah.
We'll see. It all comes down to the Rumble and shit this year. Who's going to win the Rumble? I don't know.
Yeah, can't wait for that, and what a great episode of SmackDown. Let's move along. Let's move along to a different brand. Same day, different brand. Because, we just had our Black Friday Battle Royal. It's still Black Friday.
Yeah, but I don't think they really mentioned it.
It was on one title card. Of course, we're talking about All Elite Wrestling Rampage. Black Friday special. It was on one title card. Rampage. We know how this goes. There's 3 matches, and they're often pretty good. We kick off this week's episode of Rampage with some tag action here. We have Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta taking on members formerly known as the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole and Bobby Fish.
That's right. Yeah, fun tag match. Cole and Cassidy having a cool little standoff. Doing Wheeler and Orange Cassidy, they started doing double team moves in slow motion, or Cassidy was doing his part in slow motion. I don't know. He's doing all the fun stuff he loves to do. But then eventually Cole throws Cassidy into the steps, takes him out of the match, and then Bobby, back in the ring, hits a big Falcon Arrow off the top rope onto Wheeler Yuta, and that gets him the pinfall. Yeah,
there were a lot of great Orange Cassidy, Adam Cole moments here. The old trying to stop Orange Cassidy from his hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
Everyone's done it. Everyone's got their own take on it.
Yeah, I think he stopped him and then did the Adam Cole baby and.
Exactly. You got to kicking off show with Orange Cassidy is always going to be a great idea. When is what's his name? Trent coming back.
I feel like we haven't seen him in a long time.
Anytime we see the best friends we got, of course, we've been seeing Orange Cassidy, Wheeler Yuta, Chuck Taylor, and Chris Statlander all coming out together doing their own thing. I also saw one of them was wearing a new shirt, and I don't even think Trent was on the shirt. No idea what the deal is there, but I guess I just never pictured Orange Cassidy in a faction or a tag team. Right, so just kind of having him teaming up with the likes of Wheeler Yuta and other people maybe just feels a little bit bizarre, but
yeah, I mean, he's pretty much their leader. Like they come out to his music and shit now.
Exactly, they're all about OC.
Yeah. Well, let's get to some women's wrestling here. We got Riho taking on Britt Baker, non-title match, but if Riho wins, she gets the title shot.
Okay,
so it's the old WWE special.
The old booking special.
Yeah, but crowd's pretty split here, chanting for both these women. And the match itself pretty evenly fought, except for Baker, of course, has Rebel and Hater on the outside, causing shit whenever they can. But Riho, she fights through this, hits a big double foot stomp off the top rope, gets a big near fall. Britt picks her up. She goes for a fisherman neck breaker, but then Riho counters that, captures Britt in a pinning combination, and gets the huge 3 count. Big win.
Big win, yeah. Surprising win. But God, it seems like any town AEW go to, Rio is so over.
Yeah.
And
she's great.
This was probably her biggest match, since losing since losing the title that she was the inaugural champion of.
Yeah,
she deserves to be right there with the rest of them.
Well, this earns her a title shot, so she's got a chance to try and become 2-time champ.
Yeah, just try.
Just try. That's probably all.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's had the momentum to take down Britt Baker right now. Usually you feel these things kind of coming, right? Someone has a lot of momentum, and then things start going the way they are. I don't think any other women have. Maybe because I feel like a title change right now would be too soon. We're focusing on this TBS championship thing.
Yeah, I think the end game will be Thunder Rosa probably taking it off Baker.
Yeah.
And then there'll be
I could see that.
But we'll have to see how the TBS tournament shakes out. She could end up winning that.
Of course, there's still 2 matches to go before, 2 kind of semifinal matches before that the bracket is over.
Yeah, but let's get to the final match on this Rampage. Daniel Garcia taking on Eddie Kingston. And yeah, they had a good amount of time here, and Garcia's got 2.0 at his side, just helping him out whenever they can. But this was just a brawler style match. Eddie Kingston's favorite. But Garcia does pretty well. He hangs in there for a bit. Was working over Eddie's leg, but Eddie just fights back, hits these huge suplexes, half and half, dropping Garcia on his head pretty much. Big Saito suplex, and then he hits his hurricane spinning back fist, and that gets him the 3. But immediately after, 2.0 jump him, so Chris Jericho gets up off the announce desk to go and chase them away.
Good Canadian kids. That's what I go 2.0. Yeah, one thing, and this is a great example. When we only see 3 matches in a card, I don't know if it's easier to book, just because it's less things, but you can have that. The first 2 matches here were very competitive, with a lot of great back and forth. But this was just the straight up fist fight. Right, it's great that AEW has so many different performers where we can have just even though those 3 matches, just have the third one be different. Yeah, which is cool. It's they use some standard kind of like wrestling maneuvers in here, but they were definitely far more aggressive in dishing out their punishment.
Oh yeah, a rough fight.
Yeah, it was another great episode of Rampage. Let's move through the weekend. Anything exciting happen on the weekend? Remember, keep it wrestling related. Has nothing to do with Toronto Maple Leafs or nothing to do with the Raptors. Nothing to do with fantasy teams or video games or disc golf. I don't want to hear anything else.
Is disc golf still going this late?
Well, the season's over, but I'm still out there playing 2 rounds a week, baby. Let's move. Let's move across then to the next brand. Let's move over to our this week's edition of Monday Night Raw.
Let's get raw. Let's get raw.
Monday night.
So for the first time in years, we have a month before a pay-per-view. And I say years, and I might be right, and we'll have the fact checkers check that one out. But yeah, like we said, we're building to our January 1st show. So we do have several weeks to kind of build up these storylines, and feuds. Right?
Yeah,
so who kicks off the show this week? None other than God, yes, he's had many names, but most consistently is just Seth Rollins coming out, dancing in a big fucking red coat, big red fur coat.
Yeah,
looking good. Pulling it straight from Becky.
Pretty good.
Pulled it straight from Becky Lynch. I wonder what that closet looks like at the Lynch Rollins house. It is probably currently the most extravagant clothing. But he opens up this show. No one can keep him down. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, and he's got some breaking news. We all know he's going to get the title shot against Big E, but now we got a date. Day 1. Circle your calendar. Day 1.
So we have 1 full month to pull from this, which is fantastic. I love a lot of build.
Yeah.
I
mean, a month is pretty good, but Finn Balor comes running out after, beats Seth up, and nails him with the steel steps. Some payback for last week. And then they actually have the match that they were supposed to do. So just jump right in. Balor versus Rollins. No fans running in this week. Just good wrestling here. Fast pace. Eventually Seth nails Finn in the eye. A legal weapon, or a legal tactic, but that allows him to hit the curb stomp to get the win.
This was a great way to start the show. With a short and sweet promo, and then a match right after that with some high energy. We've seen Seth Rollins and Finn Balor go at it before in those IC title times. Which is great. Having Rollins say that he's the guy for day 1 instead of dragging it out for weeks felt somewhat surprising.
It's nice. I mean, he can focus on that. He's still got to deal with Balor in the meantime, but
Finn Balor, who I just saw recently celebrated his 20th year first match anniversary.
Wow.
Finn Balor's been wrestling for 20 years now, which is crazy.
Yeah. We go backstage. Vince McMahon's got Austin Theory in his office. And, after last week with the whole egg stealing and giving back, and he says, you're going to sit here with me all night and watch the show, and maybe you're going to learn something. And if you steal from me again, I'll kill you. So, and we just kind of cut back to them throughout the night. Nothing really happens. He's just sitting there testing him.
Just sitting there, which is great news. You're a new guy on the roster, and Vince has a segment where you're sitting in his office with him. I mean, that's pretty good. That's like one of the biggest wrestling compliments I feel like you can get. In the whole industry.
Vince, he just likes that his name's Austin, so he's like, I can work with that.
I've worked with Austins before.
Then we get Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan coming out for the old contract signing for their women's championship match. Liv's first ever contract signing.
Never signed a contract ever before.
Not in public like this. So, both women come out. Becky just starts talking some trash. She's already signed the contract. Sonya Deville tells us the title match will take place next week, so we don't have to wait for day 1 for that one. Becky just starts making fun of the New York Islanders getting some big heat because they're in their new building and they haven't even won there yet. So she's like, I won in this building before your team.
That was a good one. What's the new arena called? Is there a name?
It's like the
UBS? Yeah.
Okay. Center, something like that. But eventually Liv jumps in and says, Becky, shut the hell up. She says, you made fun of me, called me a crybaby, and then you were crying your eyes out after your match with Charlotte. And then she drops the big line, says, you're the reason my friends are gone because of your big, fat, greedy contract. So some
don't know how I feel about that one. Don't know how I feel about if that,
it's a little.
If that's a little too real,
Yeah, especially for Liv being the baby face, it seemed out of character. She was kind of the one being the bully.
So somebody wrote it. Somebody wrote it down.
Somebody wrote it.
Somebody wrote it down, and then somebody said yes, do it. So
yeah. It still got the reaction, a little bit of the ooh.
It got the ooh, but of course she's probably referring to Ruby Rose and Sarah
Logan.
Sarah Logan. Ruby Rose, though, probably making more money now than she was then. So maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, at least that part. But anyways, this all concludes. They end up booking a 10-woman tag match. Team Becky versus Team Liv.
Yeah, later on in the show.
Yeah, kind of a Survivor Series bonus. But it's not elimination style. So.
Oh, good, because the elimination makes no sense.
It would take long. But we got some title matches on the show. We got tag team titles on the line. RK Bro defending against the Dirty Dogs. And this ended up being a pretty good match, Dirty Dogs, they're always there. They don't mess around. They put up a good fight. And, Ziggler hits a zigzag, but Randy kicks out of that, like everyone does these days.
Probably the most kicked out of finishing move, possibly in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah. So he goes for his other finisher, the super kick, but Randy avoids that, hits the RKO, gets the win, retains the titles.
Retains the titles. These guys have been just, continue to be fun. Dirty Dogs, though. Nice to see him back again. Good Canadian kid, that Robert Roode.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a job. Oh. He hasn't been released yet.
So. Yeah, exactly, right? If Bobby Roode can keep his job, he's doing something right. Is he Bobby Roode again, or is he still Robert Roode?
I think he's still Robert, but
okay.
Rated R superstar Edge comes out, who I don't think we've seen since Saudi. So almost 2 months now.
Oh, and this is his first Raw. I believe this is his first time back on Raw.
Yeah, at least since the draft came into effect or whatever. So comes out, cuts a promo. He says, "Yeah, I missed you guys," but then he gets interrupted by another returning star, The Miz, and his wife, Mrs. Maurice. So we haven't seen her in a very long time. So
coming out, like the good old days, like the Dean Ambrose days, coming out like the the Cena, Nikki Bella days.
Yeah. So this could be a reason why they released John Morrison, because they're like, well, you got Maurice now. We don't need another guy. But so Miz gets in the ring. He's mad that Edge is getting this special treatment. Edge insults him for coming in 9th place on Dancing with the Stars. Then Edge says, "You have people on other shows using your name to get a cheap reaction." So that was
See, that's the way you bring in real life. I don't like this. You're the reason my friends don't have jobs. That's a little too true.
And that's also like kind of. I mean, they didn't say AEW, but they referenced AEW indirectly.
Yep, the other show, and of course AEW's been saying the other show. They've been saying that one too.
Yeah. But then Edge does do that other line about releases and says, "You left your partner high and dry and got him fired," which is kind of a weird line. It's like, no, you released him. Miz had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Well, like you just said, right? Maybe they needed to make room for Maurice.
Yeah. So anyways, he puts Miz over for a little bit. He's like, "Yeah, you've main evented WrestleMania. You did more than anyone ever thought you could." But and then he just dares Miz to jump him, but Miz walks off.
Refuses.
Yeah,
we could be setting up, but with Maurice involved, maybe you're setting up for that mixed tag with Beth Phoenix.
Well, I did just read today that Beth is wrapping up commentary duties on NXT, so maybe
could be something to it. I mean, I feel like we definitely missed out on the babyface Miz versus Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I feel like we kind of maybe missed out on that, because if a mixed tag match is so fucking obvious, they never book them. They just never book them.
Yeah. Well, like you said earlier in the show, they never booked Scarlett to wrestle, period, in the 3 years.
And yeah, and that just seemed so obvious, like just such a low-hanging fruit, but they never made it happen.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's move on to the Street Profits taking on the Alpha Academy. But in the middle of the match, Omos and AJ Styles come out. AJ's wearing glasses because he's blind. So you'll remember last week he got sprayed in the face by that fire extinguisher.
Yeah, and there's a lot of little particles that kind of come out of that.
Yeah, it's not safe. It's not just dry ice like you might think it was or something, but
it might be. Who knows?
Yeah, AJ, he's blind. He's doing commentary though, kind of funny. He's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" But
he can't look at that little monitor directly in front of him.
No, he's blind. So later on, though, the miracle happens. He jumps on the apron and starts interfering. It was all an act, but it doesn't even make a difference because Montez just still hits his finisher from the heavens, gets the win anyways. But then Omos looks at AJ like, "What the fuck, man? You lied to me about being blind?" So just a little tension there, minor tension, but
yeah, maybe someone's gonna have to put over Omos. A lot of people are gonna have to keep putting Omos.
A lot of people, but during that split, Omos is gonna go over, and you can turn AJ back babyface. People are ready to cheer him. They're always ready.
Yeah.
So, but we got another title match tonight. Damian Priest defending against Apollo Crews. And, of course, Commander Aziz on the outside, causing trouble, so the referee just had enough. He ejects him. And then Priest comes running in with a big flipping senton off the stairs onto Apollo, but nearly lands just right on his head. Close one there. But then Priest pulls out his the crazy eyes. Once those eyes start bugging out, he just transforms and fucks up Apollo, hits the Reckoning, gets the win.
For the win. It feels like a lifetime ago that Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz were tearing their way through the ranks. I think that was like a Mania time, April-ish.
Yeah.
I think might have been the time where like Aziz came out and then everyone was like, who's that?
Yeah. But now we're like, we got Omos. Aziz, you're not big anymore. Omos is
exactly
like 2 inches taller.
That's exactly it. And then Damian Priest is hitting this moment now in his matches where he kind of like hulks out.
Yeah.
Hulkamania. I was thinking, it is very Hulkamania, but I was thinking more Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Damian,
they are one and the same.
They are one and the same.
But yeah, Damian Priest, God, who knows what straight victory this is for him. But dude's on fire. He's coming for the fucking world title. Why not?
I mean, yeah, that's definitely a match you could do. I don't know.
If you include dark matches, he hasn't lost in singles competition since at least February.
So back in NXT days?
No, he was still WWE, but
okay.
or like still Monday Night Raw. But yeah, if you're including, this guy doesn't lose.
He's on a roll.
Yeah.
So let's keep rolling on because we got some tag team action. Rey and Dominic Mysterio taking on Cedric and Shelton. But really nothing special here. Eventually Dominic and Rey hit a double 619. Dominic hits a frog splash to get a much needed win for the Mysterio family.
Much needed win for the Mysterio family, which is, still breaking apart in front of our eyes. I imagine, what was the sister's name? Aaliyah?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe, there'll be some kind of like Aaliyah on a pole match.
I don't know.
Like
I think we might never see her again.
Or a custody for the family name match. Of course, we are also, I'm still waiting for the moment where Dominic says, I wish I wish Uncle Eddie was my real father. That's the blow off line. That'll be, if he can hit that line, that's going to be the line of the fucking year.
Maybe he'll fight for Rey's mask. So if Rey loses, then now Dominic.
It's like a mask versus like no mask.
Yeah, I get your mask, and I become the new Mysterio. I get your mask,
exactly right. That's like a king passing down its crown. I'm sure over years battles have occurred to determine the rightful heir. So this would be no different.
We'll see. This is a long-term storyline, though. I think I don't know. We'll see. But let's get to this 5-on-5 women's match we promised you. Team Liv, which includes her, Bianca, Rhea Ripley, Nikki, Ash, and Dana Brooke, taking on Team Becky with Zelina, Carmella, Tamina, and Doudrop. So, yeah, the Survivor Series B-side here. But, yeah, it was still fun. Lots of bodies moving around. Everyone having their little moments. Liv gets her hands on Becky for a while. And at one point, Bianca picks up Tamina for the KOD. Gets a big pop there, but her teammates save her before she can hit it. So Carmella jumps in, hits a big super kick on Rhea for a 2 count. And then Dana Brooke, she gets shoved off the top rope onto a pile of women on the floor. So all this is going on, and then back in the ring, Liv Morgan is able to hit Tamina with the Oblivion to get the pinfall win for her team.
Yeah, and we say this all the time. WWE is great at these multi-person matches, where you can kind of address a few feuds at the same time. And hey, if you're only going to throw one women's match on the card, it might as well be a 20-minute get as many involved as you can, right? Nothing looked bad, but nothing stands out.
Yeah. No, the biggest moment for me was just, like I said, Belair picking up Tamina. But she didn't even get to hit the move.
We're almost getting our Andre moment. It's going to happen eventually.
Yeah. If she picks up Doudrop, I'll go crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's really, it feels like it's during. Yeah, Piper Niven. We're going to start calling her that again. Hopefully.
But, match was okay. It was fun. At the end, Becky tries to jump Liv, but Liv is able to catch her and lay her out with the Oblivion. So some momentum. And part of me thinks they might even pull the swerve and give Liv the title win next week.
What was the last swerve? When was the last time? Oh, should that be a shooty swerve of the year? Like, when was the last time we were swerved in a title victory? It's almost hard to say.
Leon Ruff, but that was a little while ago.
Yeah, okay. Leon Ruff, that's a good one. That was a good one. That was a swerve. Definitely, I was going to say SummerSlam 2020. I remember when, The Fiend wins, and then Roman comes back, and then they have that Payback pay-per-view the next week.
Oh, yeah.
But then after that, it was after Roman Reigns came back, it was he's obviously going to win this, even though it was 7 days later. Leon Ruff might be the last swerve, so I like to think we're due for one. And that's brand wide. We have winners coming over in a couple Wednesdays from now. Brand wide, we are yet to be swerved in a significant way.
Yeah, so we'll get to that soon. But yeah, next week, big match for Liv. So we'll see.
Yeah, very much so looking forward to it, and hopefully there's a big match for Sami Zayn coming also at one point. Yeah,
that too.
That'd be nice.
So they go back to Vince's office one last time, and he's like, "Oh, good job, Theory. You learned a lot." Yeah, and then he goes to leave, but then he slaps him in the face. He's like, "No, you didn't learn anything." So, it's going to continue this little mentorship.
Yeah, and like we said, that is the utmost of praise for a guy like Austin Theory. Fucking buddy. If you're in a segment with Vince, it doesn't matter how silly it is. If anything, the stupider it is, the more he likes you, because in his mind, it's great. Although it's stupid.
That's 2 weeks in a row. There was the egg last week, and this week.
Who stole the egg? What a potential, potentially could have been a great story, and then they just whiffed it.
Wasted it.
I know.
But let's get to the main event match for the show. Big E takes on Kevin Owens. But if Owens wins, he gets added to the title match at day one, making it a triple threat.
Okay.
So Seth Rollins comes out to do commentary. During the match, Owens goes over and slaps him in the face, trying to bait him into getting attacked so he can get an easy DQ win. But Seth doesn't take the bait, so we continue the match. Owens DDTs Big E onto the steel steps. He hits a pop-up powerbomb for another big near fall. But he can't get the win, so he goes after Rollins once again, hits him again, goes back in the ring. Big E grabs Owens, but then Rollins jumps in, attacks Kevin, causing the DQ, just as Owens wanted. So he gets that gets inserted to day one's title match.
He gets the win and gets the opportunity to compete for that title. God, that's going to be the fucking barn burner. I don't care who Roman Reigns takes on at day one.
Oh, what if him, Sammy, and Kevin both get their big title shots to close their career?
Imagine that. Yeah, imagine that. This is great This is great.
And then they both win and shake hands.
Oh, and then Kevin Owens power bombs Sami Zayn onto an apron, and then we walk away like nothing happened. Yeah. That's the key to success. Yeah, this one thing. This match is going to be a lot of fun. Especially Kevin Owens, who has never been. He was a Universal Champion one time, but it's never been in the WWE Championship realm. I feel like he's always been on the other brand. He's always been, and then Seth Rollins hasn't had an opportunity this close to that championship since like 2016, 2015 or something. So it feels very new, although these guys have been around for years. Like, this kind of combination and what's at stake feels very new.
Yeah, and triple threat rules. That means there are no rules, really. So Kevin Owens, he can fall onto ladders, through tables. They can do whatever
Big
they
E
want.
doesn't have to get pinned to lose. We all know this.
Yeah, there's always that intrigue as well. So day one. We'll figure it out.
Can't wait. We'll have to see. Mike, should we take a break?
Let's take a break.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back because War Games is on the horizon, so we got some NXT 2.0. We also have some Dynamite as we make our way towards Winners coming, so you're going to want to stick around.
Stick it.
Let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, brother, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, brother, yeah.
Back here with part 2 of the show here, folks. Thanks for sticking it out through the break. A lot of things you can count on in life. For example, this might be controversial to say, Mike, but I can rely on the sun rising tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and if it doesn't, then we're all
If
doomed.
it doesn't, then Mike, you're gonna be one of the first people I call and say, yeah, I know you're gonna say I told you so.
Well, I mean, one of these days, but not in our life.
One of these days, the sun will not be rising. Take that, Annie. Is that what that song is from?
Annie?
Is that what
like
I
the
think?
musical?
Like
Little
the sun.
Orphan Annie?
Yeah, like the sun will come out tomorrow. Bet
I
you're
prefer Oliver.
Is it Oliver?
No.
Oh, you're just saying out of the childhood.
Out of the orphan musicals?
My favorite orphan musical. You really pick between the two. But Mike, like I said, one thing that you can certainly count on is that come the fall, we will be going to war. And
That's
war. One thing that would say is like a chess match. It's pieces moving. It's very strategic. It's far not like a game, right? Where a game can be like a game of sorry or a game of trouble, a game of Connect Four. So even just saying war and games feels like an oxymoron. But it's the end of the year, so that season is coming, and it is coming on Sunday. So let's get into this week's edition of NXT 2.0.
NXT, what does it mean? I don't know, but it's some good wrestling. So NXT, watch and see. Try to tap out a count out of 1, 2, 3.
Our final step in gaining any sort of momentum towards our 8 competitors, 16 competitors entering the unforgiving steel structure.
That's right. Double cages, double rings, double the trouble.
Yeah, so we actually open up this week's episode of NXT 2.0. This is our go-home show with the 2 women's teams meeting up on the stage, beginning, and they sort of just brawled it out. We have 8 women on stage brawling out, which somehow allows Dakota Kai and Kaylee Ray to be alone in the ring.
Yeah, so they just kind of... Because we have to have a ladder match here to determine who's going to get the advantage to start the War Games match. And they didn't know how to pick who was going to do it, so this is how it's sorted out. They just they all brawled, and
that was
like
the way it worked.
The two get separated.
Because as we remember, as we all know, it's 1-on-1. There's one competitor from each team, but then in intervals, only one member, only one new entrant is brought in. So you will have a 2-on-1, and then a 2-on-2, 3-on-2. 3-on-3. So it is very important to get that first for this win, because you will kind of start off with that 2-on-1 advantage, then the 3-on-2 advantage, the 4-on-3 advantage.
So a lot on the line here. So they went for it. Kaylee Ray, Dakota Kai. Kaylee, she hits this big flipping senton off the top rope to the floor. She's hitting suicide dives. She's just flying all over the place. And, of course, lots of weapons. We got the ladders. We got steel steps. Everyone's just getting bashed around. This is probably the best I've seen of Kaylee Ray in a long time, we haven't seen much of her at all in NXT since coming over from NXT UK.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, this was real good here. And Dakota Kai, though, we know what she can do, and puts up a great fight, just hitting some stiff boots to the face. Yeah, this was just awesome back and forth wrestling. Kaylee Ray kind of defaulted to the babyface role here, and they both fight their way up to the top of the ladder. Kai knocks Kaylee down, but instead of grabbing the briefcase, she risks it all. Dakota jumps off the ladder, hits a massive double foot stomp onto Kaylee. And then Dakota climbs back up the ladder, but then Ray grabs her from behind, and she's able to slip her feet into the ladder, yanks her down backwards. So she's just kind of slides down the rungs, and then for good measure, she super kicks Dakota in the face while she's upside down. So she's done for. Kaylee Ray climbs the ladder, unhooks the case to get the win and the advantage for her team at War Games.
And I think, Mike, like you said right there, the best showing out of her since we've seen her kind of at all, right?
Yeah. No, this was a great match, great opening match. Very excited for their War Games contest.
I mean, this was, or Kaylee Ray was the NXT UK Women's Champion she had a long-ass reign of her own, I think, taking us through the Covitud era. This was a lot of fun, and, I mean, a crowd's going to be hot for an opening ladder match. That's going to be hot.
Yeah, and they delivered.
Yeah, honestly.
So let's move along, because we got Cameron Grimes taking on Andre Chase. But Grimey, he's just not in a good mood, so takes it on Chase. Easy tune-up match for him. Hits the cave-in, gets the easy win. Mm-hmm. But then afterwards, Duke Hudson appears in the crowd, and he just does this whole slideshow of a bunch of pictures of Grimes, photoshopped with goofy haircuts. And this is when Grimes pulls a razor out from under the ring, goes to shave Andre, but his students save him, so he just tells Hudson, "I'm going to shave you bald at work."
Yeah, the Photoshop bit was a bit bad.
That was nuts. That was definitely Monday Night Raw kind of humor.
That was definitely a Vince McMahon style thing. It would have probably just been best to let the two men just kind of speak for themselves instead. But yeah, again, Duke Hudson doesn't have enough hair to really kind of sell this as a match.
And they already trimmed a little bit off of Grimes, so it's not as
it's
if
like
he loses,
neat
it's not quite.
Now. It would have been nice if they just left it at whatever the fuck it was. So a patchy beard, hair is longer. They're like, "Hey, Grimey, we need to do this for a month. Just have a month of none of your hair matches."
I'm sure he would.
I'd do it. Why the hell not?
Yeah. So we're going to have a second ladder match tonight for the men's side of things, but to determine who's going to be in it, we're going to do a WWE.com poll. So the viewers, you get the power.
So everyone, pull out your smartphones with permission from your parents, like classic American Idol style.
So, it's too late now because this was during the show, and we reveal the vote. Johnny Gargano, he's won for his team. So Team 2.0, as they're calling them now, the new guys, they come out, cut a promo about War Games, and they get a pretty good crowd response as they're each just speaking their words, and we reveal the person on their team who gets the winning vote, and that, of course, Braun Breaker. So it'll be him versus Gargano later in that ladder match.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad at all. But then we get some tag team wrestling. Legado del Fantasma taking on Kyle O'Reilly and
You had a tough time saying that one.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out. Von Wagner, Kyle O'Reilly, winner, gets a tag title shot at War Games. And yeah, it was okay. In the middle of it all, Zion Quinn comes out. He's still feuding with Legado and this sexual tension with Elektra Lopez. Kyle and Wagner, they just continue their chemistry in the ring. They're hitting some nice double team moves, ending with their lariat leg sweep combo to get the win, earning a title shot.
Earning a title shot, which, okay. Feels weird, right?
Yeah. I mean, the team still feels weird. Yeah.
I've said this before. I've never been the biggest fan of Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah.
I've never been their biggest fan, but certainly so in that case I'd say the right team won. But I guess Kyle O'Reilly is the standard of tag team wrestling here in NXT, so maybe we shouldn't forget that.
Yeah, no, it's just I guess we still don't really know anything about Von Wagner. He's just this tall dude.
Yeah, so tall, weird looking guy.
Yeah. Then we get another teaser, a vignette for Tiffany Stratton, Tiffany's Epiphanies, this rich princess daddy girl.
Yeah, we saw her yesterday. Something about last week rather, something about my dad didn't get me a convertible or something like that. That was the punchline was something like that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone is, but I'm. Then we go to Joe Gacy and his all-inclusive invitational. Because he doesn't want the 205 cruiserweight belt to, shame anyone. No weight shaming with their requirements. So
okay, yeah, size,
whatever.
height, gender, whatever.
Then he starts fighting these jobbers he invited out. He beats the first guy real quick with a power bomb, and then the woman steps in to fight him. But Diamond Mine come out to interrupt, and Malcolm Bivens and Joe Gacy just go back and forth on the mic until Roddy jumps in with a big right hand. So, yeah.
I don't like this guy. It's just growing increasingly confusing for me to determine what the point of this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't do much for me. I don't know. Oh, well.
Yeah, it just feels awkward until there's actual direction. Because I have no problem with somebody, a non-cruiserweight winning the cruiserweight championship. If from a storyline it makes sense, I don't have a problem with that. But right now, there's no storyline to make it make sense.
Yeah, that's his whole thing.
I guess so.
You're weight shaming. Weight shaming.
I guess I shouldn't be weight shaming. Yeah, you're right.
Let's just go on to Solo Sikoa taking on Edris Enofe. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually got a couple moves in, more than I thought, this Enofe guy. But eventually Solo cuts him off, hits a big Samoan drop, and the Samoan splash to get the win. But immediately after, Boa shows up, and he's got his Mei Ying face paint on and attacks Solo, but then he kind of comes to his senses and stumbles off.
Yeah.
But, this whole thing with Mei Ying, Boa, it's in shambles.
Oh, the whole thing is in shambles, and it feels like they're just trying to, save something that they can. But, this is NXT 2.0. This is the future, right? And Sikoa now 2 weeks straight of being on television. So...
Yeah, getting wins.
Or, no, probably not 2 weeks. Probably maybe 3 weeks now. It'd be nice to see him more on a weekly basis.
Well, he's Samoan, so they're going to push him.
Exactly.
Then we get Indy Hartwell, Persia Parada taking on Valentina Perez and Yulisa Leon. And Indy still is just all mopey about Dexter getting hurt. But it's like, come on. It's nothing serious. He hurt his arm or his leg or whatever.
He hurt his arm.
He didn't have heart surgery or whatever. Anyways, Persia's like, yeah, enough of this. She tags in, takes over the match. She hits her cool TKO sit-out move to get the win for her and Indy.
Now, I do have to say, Mike, last week you said we would, I think you, Lisa Leon, you fumbled over her name, and then you followed it up with whatever, we won't see her again.
I was wrong.
You were wrong, but, it wasn't a loss.
admit it.
So did we really see her at all? It wasn't like a 3-4 minute loss or whatever, 2 minute maybe.
Yeah.
At that. But yeah, it's the same story as always. Indy's struggling to keep her focus, and then Parada comes in and is the powerhouse there.
Yeah. It's going to lead to a split.
Yeah.
At some point.
Because like we said, Indy Hartwell is really, since 2.0, she's the one on the outs kind of right now.
Yeah, she's kind of got nothing left.
No.
I mean, Johnny's leaving, Candace is gone, Dexter's not around anymore.
Literally
Or at
the
least 'cause of his
entire
injury.
Way family. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's. But let's go to the main event. We got the second big ladder match of the show. Johnny Gargano versus Braun Breaker for the War Games advantage. And crowd just hot for both these guys, doing the dog barks for Breaker. He was doing a couple Steiner references throughout the match, showing off his big muscles.
Now, is the barking thing a Steiner thing?
It was... The crowd wouldn't really do it, but Rick Steiner would do it a little bit.
Oh, okay. But now the crowd seems to be more on the barking side than in the past.
Like Braun
yeah.
doesn't bark, so it's like they switched roles.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Breaker just showing that strength. At one point, he picks Johnny up for a vertical suplex and just holds him with one arm, just stalling the suplex, looking like a star. But Johnny, he's a star as well. He's doing the high flying moves, jumping off the ladder. They're hitting each other with it. But Breaker, man, he was showing some high flying as well. He put Johnny, laid him out in the ladder, and then does a big, nice flying elbow drop. But Johnny moves, so he crashes hard onto the ladder. Just more ladder spots. They set the ladder up across the top rope. Johnny's laid out on it, and then Breaker picks up the ladder with Johnny on top. And he's just marching around the ring with that, but Gargano gets down, super kicks the ladder into his face, but he won't stay down. They fight to the top rope once again. Breaker hits a picture-perfect Frankensteiner, the move of Scott Steiner invented. Yeah, this was just great stuff going on here. Eventually, they both fight to the top of the ladder. Johnny grabs the briefcase, slams it into Breaker, so he falls off. But then he grabs Johnny's leg, yanks him down, catches him midair, hits the power slam. So that takes him out. Breaker's all alone now, climbs the ladder, unhooks the case, gets the big win for his team.
For his team to kick it off. And the new NXT, taking on the old NXT. But when it comes to NXT, we're talking Mr. NXT, that's Johnny Gargano, right? That's kind of, if you were to ask, if I were to ask you, would you agree?
Yeah, if you want to call someone Mr. NXT, I think,
possibly even more than an Adam Cole type. Although, Gargano had his early success with DIY, and then, of course, the string of 5-star matches with Tommaso Ciampa. And
I would say Johnny Gargano's Mr. NXT, but Adam Cole is the best NXT champion ever.
Best champion we've had. And he just, Mr. NXT, whoever you want to call him, just gave Braun Breaker his best match to date. And this was actually one for me where, that first fucking 2.0 episode, I was so not on board with Braun Breaker at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And I don't know. A late contender for Rookie of the Year, I think.
Absolutely.
Breakout Star of the Year. That is the official.
Both.
Breakout Star of the Year. That is the category. That is the category. Because Rookie is a little too difficult to gauge. This is Rookie. God damn it. Yeah, well, like I said, for both. He's really come along, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But I think he might be the one to stand up on top at the end of War Games.
Yeah, and so far, he's been nailing it. He's wrestling like a seasoned veteran out there.
He really
he's
is.
handling the crowd and everything. Mm-hmm. He doesn't seem nervous. He's doing it. So, yeah. They picked the right guy if he's the one to build around.
Yeah, he's doing something right. That's for sure.
But that's it. That's your go home for War Games.
Yeah, that was Go Home for War Games. We'll cover the show, those few matches at the end of the show. But before we do, let's move ourselves. We're in Atlanta, baby, hot Atlanta, home of
it's gonna get hot.
Home of Ludacris and others. Formerly home
of Cody Rhodes, I think.
Home of Cody Rhodes, former home of the Atlanta Thrashers. Danny Heatley killed a guy there one time. So let's get into it. We're talking some All Elite Wrestling Dynamite.
AEW. All Elite. They coming for you, Vince. Better watch out. It's too sweet.
Like we said, we hear very early on. Guess who's headlining the show? Mr. Hotlanta himself, Cody Rhodes. He's going to be taking on Andrade El Idolo in the Atlanta street fight. But we kick off the show the way that we have been for the last few weeks. Bryan Danielson slowly and meticulously going through each member of the Dark Order. And this week is no different, taking on Alan Angels, number 5, no mask. And that's what he looks like. He took the mask off a little while ago and hasn't looked back.
Yeah, still the same guy, still a good wrestler here, getting lots of love from the crowd.
And the crowd was hot early on. This crowd was super hot.
No, you could see Angels having a big smile on his face, which you wouldn't get to with that mask.
Commentary put over, not only is just Cody Rhodes from Atlanta, so is Alan Angels.
Yeah,
from Atlanta. This battle occurring at the very same arena that Alan Angels graduated high school from.
Wow.
And
cool.
Of course, who's letting us know all this?
That's a big high school graduation.
Oh, that's a huge. Well, it'd be kind of like it's kind of like renting out Ray 20 Complex or something. Kind of like something like that.
Wasn't this place? Okay, I thought this was like a bigger.
No, I think this was one of those like 7,000 cap. Well, still a lot of people.
Okay.
Still a lot of people. However, I just want to thank Excalibur for letting us know where Alan Angels graduated high school.
Yeah. So he's getting lots of love, but Bryan Danielson still getting lots of cheers as well. But that leads to more boos as he's acting heelish throughout the match. Angels, he gets in a bunch of good moves, but Bryan eventually cuts him off and just starts stomping away at his head. Takes a moment to flex his muscles and then locks in a knee bar to get the quick tap out win. And once again, he holds on for a while after the bell. Doesn't release the submission right away.
Flexing away, letting people know that he's in charge.
Yeah. And then afterwards, Tony Schiavone shuffles into the ring and interviews Bryan about the world title shot, which they've announced will be taking place at Winter's Coming 2 weeks from now, I think. Right?
Yeah, the 17th, I think I saw. Which, that's a big show historically. Sting premiered last year. Of course, Kenny Omega walked away with that championship last year. So, we were just talking swerves early on in the first half of the show. I think Bryan Danielson's going to win the championship right here.
I am
on board.
I am very
well,
on board.
Of course, if Bryan Danielson's going to win, obviously I'm fucking on board. But just the way that, and this was a Brock Lesnar thing that he said one time. It was something along the lines of, like the fighting champion type of thing. I'm the champ. I fight and I win. That's how it goes. And we have not seen Adam Hangman Page in competition since he won at Full Gear. And what have we seen opposite him? We have seen Bryan Danielson winning and winning and winning, and that's what he told us he was going to do when he comes here. We'll talk about that more in a couple weeks, but right now I am pretty firm on Bryan Danielson's going to walk away champion at this one.
Yeah, though, like we said, we haven't had that big swerve
that
in
would
AEW.
Be huge. And for Alan Angels, I think this is the second time he's kicked off the show with a championship match. He had one against Kenny Omega months ago, and he's great in this spot, in these kind of spots, this energetic, dynamic babyface kind of thing. Gives you a little impression, the fans are invested in him. One day he's going to win one of these, somewhat important AEW television matches, and hopefully the faithful crowd will erupt.
Oh, yeah. And then afterwards, we get a quick little promo from Bryan. He just says, if that's the best Atlanta's got, I whooped his ass. And next week in Long Island, I'll beat another one. And then 2 weeks in Texas, I'll take your title, cowboy. So very fitting that it's in Texas.
Very fit. Well, I think he's from Virginia.
Yeah,
Right.
I just mean for the Cowboy.
Oh, for Cowboys. Okay, I get it. Yep,
Cowboys.
yep.
Yeah. But yeah, can't wait. Like we said, that's going to be a great show. Winners come.
Mm-hmm.
But CM Punk up next, taking on Lee Moriarty. And before the match can start, MJF comes out with this fantastic looking Hanukkah suit.
Looked great.
You know,
it really did.
It's got the menorah, the dreidel, all the symbols. So he's doing commentary, and they announced that the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal is returning for next week. And MJF's in the match looking to get his third straight, or at least retain the ring. I don't think he gets a new one.
Yeah, I wonder how that works, because he definitely doesn't have two. He definitely only has one. But you have to transfer the ownership of the ring? Like, that feels a little bit too much.
Yeah, just have him win it again. It's his thing. But back to the match. Punk versus Lee. Lee does pretty good there. He's hangs in for a while, hits a big flurry of offense, gets himself a near fall, but Punk puts it all to an end as he hits the GTS, gets the win. But right after that, MJF just stands up with a microphone starts insulting Punk, says, you know, you call yourself the best in the world, but you're struggling with guys like QT Marshall and Lee Moriarty. And he says something about you're trying to get in Britt Baker's pants.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but hey.
Yeah, I think just because Punk mentioned Baker once or twice.
Yeah, he may have said something like, "Oh, this is better than Britsburg." It was something like that.
Something like that,
Yeah.
but not enough to be like obsessed or anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, yeah, he called him PG Punk, one pump chump. A lot of those lines.
Yeah,
Wasn't as good as
one
the pre-
punk. One pump punk. Who knows? I think
something
the
like-
other line that I caught from here would be that he's going to be better than Brett in Canada, Piper in Portland, or Punk in Chicago. Which is like you're like, hey, I get that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That
hey,
was good.
Brett in Canada has a famously has a time where he was not did not come out on top. So who knows?
Yeah. So it wasn't on the promo or on the level of their promo the week before,
No.
but that's hard to top.
Yeah,
But,
that's hard
you
to
know,
top. There was 20 uninterrupted minutes of two guys talking. That's going to be hard to top. And I know that sounds weird to say, but you know.
Yeah. But then we go to Wardlow taking on AC Adams, who no idea who he is.
Yeah, this is more one of those matches where I prefer to say just Wardlow in action. And this is what Excalibur will do. You know, anytime you see like, anytime he'll be like, next week on Rampage, Jade Cargill in action. You're like, okay, so fucking, that's what that means.
I just want to respect the guy. His first, you know,
Of course,
this could be his big break on
AC,
television.
Yeah, this could be it.
But not today. Wardlow destroys him. Hits 4 straight power bombs to get the easy win.
Yeah, and Wardlow continues to get presented as that dominant badass. And although the Pinnacle has sort of stepped aside, you know, the members of it continue to remain, you know, put over well.
Kind of, yeah, everyone but Sean Spears is wrestling.
We've seen Sean Spears every so often. I think I may have seen him on. I think I saw him on Dark last time I watched, but you know.
Well, speaking of Dark, we've got the Kings of Dark, the Gun Club, who evidently are undefeated in tag team action. Mm-hmm. Taking on another undefeated team, Darby Allin and Sting. So, battle of undefeated. Something is going to give here.
Yeah, the battle of the two undefeated teams, and this is kind of how they were pushing it.
Yeah, Darby and Sting, they kind of their face paint, they kind of blended elements of one another's. You know, like Sting had the skull, the skeleton face a bit, and kind of cool.
Yeah, they're combining each other's face paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably just do it together in the dressing room.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
Here, let me do this.
Let me do that.
Oh.
Yeah, that looks good.
Anyway, Sting, he gets Colton in the Scorpion Deathlock, but Billy distracts the ref, so Austin Gunn jumps in to attack Sting, and then Billy hits Sting with the Famouser, but Sting's able to kick out, and then Darby starts jumping all around the ring. At some point, he cracks the back of his head open.
I also missed that, but it was like a perfect red paint smear on the top of his head.
Yeah, when you got bleached blonde hair like that, it just stands out so much more. Yeah, so whatever. It's Darby. No surprise. And then back in the ring, Sting, he hits the Scorpion Death Drop on Colton to get the win, and the Gun Club streak is over.
The streak is over. I think what happened after this. No, there wasn't any shenanigans. But yeah, just a fun one to match. Hopefully, this is the end of the feud.
Yeah. Nothing against the Gun Club, but they're not. I think there's a reason they're on Dark Coma.
Yeah, they're not like the top of our minds.
No,
exactly.
And there was this little promo thing where Team Taz came out to do commentary, and then Lio Rush comes out, and he's like, "Hey man, what'd you do?" And then Dante comes out and sides with Team Taz once again.
Sides with Team Taz again. We also got some kind of crazy Miro promo somewhere around here. He's walking around a white room. A lot of those like quick camera cuts around his face, going like, bleh. Some kind of. He's really kind of leaning into this Redeemer thing, but with no, like, he hasn't changed his gear or his hair, so he's still like Miro, but now he's more Miro the Redeemer. So we're not sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Since he's lost the TNT title, we haven't seen a whole lot.
Yeah, we really haven't.
But we got a new title still in the works here. This TBS title. We're on to the quarterfinals now. Chris Statlander taking on Ruby Soho. Two fan favorites. Lots of cheers for both of them. And it was good, evenly fought, competitive match. Lots of near falls for both sides. Statlander, eventually she goes for the Big Bang Theory, but Ruby reverses it and is able to pin her down for the 3 count. Ruby advances.
I think after the match, Ruby Soho gets attacked by Nyla Rose, the one on the other side of the bracket, who will be they'll be taking each other on for that big one. Eventually, Chris Statlander comes back, makes the save once you figure out what's going on. I'd have to say Ruby Soho winning is the right call.
I could have gone with Statlander, but I don't know if either of them are going to win the tournament. So
I mean, that's the thing. It's sort of, to me, it feels like we're kind of going to Ruby Jade Cargill in our final.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
because I don't think Nyla should make it to the
and
finals.
Ruby's sitting on some kind of 18 match winning streak or something like that
already.
So,
wow, 18.
So sorry, did I say Ruby? I meant Jade.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Hey, Ruby and Jade. That goes well.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Gemstones final.
Yeah. But let's go to the final match of this episode. We've got Andrade taking on Cody in that Atlanta street fight. So no rules at all. Andrade even comes out brandishing a knife. So he's not messing around.
He's really not fucking around. He came out with mask, pants on this time. Just want to throw that one out there.
Yeah, maybe the pants thing was just a wardrobe malfunction. They just broke, ripped apart. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe they did rip.
Whatever.
I didn't even think about that. And he was just like, "Thank God I had some
it.
backup trunks under there."
Yeah, but anyways, main event. They give this match lots of time, and they start off. They brawl through the crowd. We get lots of chair shots to the head, and Andrade takes Cody's belt off, hits him with it, throws it into the crowd, and you can see the crowd. They're all just chanting at the person to throw it back, but they didn't.
Not this time. Didn't throw it back this time.
No, but then Andrade pulls out this leather bag he's got just full of items, pulls out a laptop and just smashes it hard over Cody's head. And then, puts a chair on him, hits a moonsault onto that. So Cody has to resort to kicking him in the balls. Andrade goes for another moonsault, but then midair, Cody just flings a chair up in his face, and Cody goes for a suicide dive. Andrade hits him in the face with the chair. At this point, Cody was bleeding from the head, and that's when they tear the padding off the floor to expose the concrete. But, Cody flips Andrade down onto that. Then he reaches under the ring, pulls out a sledgehammer. So that got a little bit of a, whoa!
That got a woo.
Another Triple H tease there. And then he pulls out a golden shovel instead and hits Jose with that, because he was trying to jump in at one point.
He had a taser.
Yeah, he was trying to taser Arn or something. I don't know.
He was trying to taser Cody, but yeah, it was.
Are you trying to taser Cody?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so he got hit. Then Andrade sets Cody up in the corner, puts a chair in front of his face, and then just hits these huge double running knees, slams a chair into Cody's face. And then I guess, they fight to the top rope. They get a table set up in the ring. The big finale spot, Cody and Andrade, they're on the top rope when this hooded person runs into the ring, pulls down their hood, reveals himself as Brandy Rhodes. And then she just starts squirting a bunch of lighter fluid all over the table, pulls out the barbecue lighter and ignites it. Huge flames go up as Cody hits Andrade with a reverse suplex off the top rope through the flaming table. Both men taking big damage on that one. Just fucking insane. Wow. You could see Cody was still on fire when they landed.
There was pieces of table burned onto his fucking flesh.
Yeah, as he was making the cover, the ref went up and patted
Starts
out
patting
his
him
shoulder.
down. Jesus Christ.
So this was insane. Cody makes the cover, gets the 3 count. Big win. What a crazy ending. A late push for a spot of the year candidate here.
Yeah,
That flaming table.
Yeah, a late push. God, I don't think we've seen a flaming table in.
It's been a while.
Something was on fire with the Fiend, or maybe that was just him.
We've had fire.
We've had fire, and where there's smoke,
we have had.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, but this was crazy ending. Both men were kind of burnt up there. I think even during the match,
Andrade
people
took
were pointing out-
0% of that fire. He took 0.
Cody definitely got it
Cody
worse.
took 100% of the flame.
There was a little bit stuck to Andrade's shoulder at the end when he was on fire. But Cody, big burns. I saw some aftermath, and people were pointing out during the match you could see Cody kind of had this flame retardant gel on his back, but I don't think it did much. But
it was something. It looked like some kind of thing.
There's something peeling off his back before he even went
I
through
thought
the fire.
that was just chair. But
the commentary was oh, that was when they fell in the garbage. Something stuck to them.
something, yeah.
But either way, crazy match. Good stuff. Atlanta Street Fight.
Yeah, Atlanta Street Fight, great stuff. God, what we get an over the top, flashy conclusion. Did Andrade and Cody need a flaming table? No, but I think in the always continuing push of trying to turn Cody heel. I guess this would be good, right? Baby faces don't light shit on fire, unless you're the Fiend.
Yeah.
Remember when Randy Orton burned Bray Wyatt's house down? That was not fun.
Yeah, good stuff though. Good way to end the show.
Yeah, great way to end the
Dynamite.
show. Okay, so let's. That was our weekly wrestling action. So let's get into the pay-per-view that's happening on Sunday, live from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. We have this year's edition of NXT War Games. You wouldn't know because the Undisputed Era is not there, and William Regal didn't announce it. So let's kick off. Let's kick off the show. Let's kick off with the women's War Games matchup. So we do have these two sides. It's 4-on-4 action. Raquel Gonzalez, Cora Jade, Io Shirai, and Kaylee Ray taking on Dakota Kai and the 3 members of Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane, our women's champions over there, in our first babyface versus heel kind of thing. I think the heels are going to walk away with it.
Yeah, I think so too. They've got all the gold. They're they've got more to lose, so let them win.
Yeah, they have more to lose just by taking the pin. None of these 4 women should be taking the pin, where on the other side you can throw somebody in like Cora Jade, the kind of like the least experienced to take that pin.
Io's still in the match, so she's going to do something crazy. She's going to jump off the top.
If you want to talk late contender for spot of the year, we know Io Shirai's going to throw it in. She's jumping off something into something or through something.
That's right.
On the tag team side of things, Imperium, they are our champions. They are taking on Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, who just won that number 1 contenders match. This could go either way for me too. I think putting the belt on Von Wagner would be a great step for NXT 2.0.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they're gonna do.
Do we have any information on Kyle O'Reilly's contractual status?
I've heard that it's supposed to be up soon, but who knows for sure.
Okay. Well,
Who knows?
speaking of contractual, speaking of contractual status, that NXT Cruiserweight Championship, Roderick Strong, our champion, taking on Joe Gacy. Do we know when Roderick Strong's champion contract ends?
Yeah, same situation. I think it's not too far from now. So he could drop the title here. Looking at it right now, Joe Gacy is billed at 245 pounds. But like you said, there's no real rules. It's WWE.
Yeah, you can do it as long as you do it, for the right reasons, I think. Having Joe Gacy go over here, sure, why the hell not?
Yeah, why the hell not?
Talk about gimmick. There's more gimmicked matches on this than there was at Extreme Rules. We have our next gimmick match. Cameron Grimes, Duke Hudson taking each other on in a hair versus hair match. Or I guess you could say a half hair versus half hair. Cameron Grimes already lost half his hair, and Duke Hudson has half a hair to begin with. I want to say Grimy gets the win because he's the guy who I feel like should go over, but like we had said before, shaving Duke Hudson's hair will not feel worth it.
Yeah, but you don't want to see Grimes lose his
I also don't want to. I mean, Cameron Grimes. This would be unprecedented if the shooty and if the defending shooty winner for best hair loses his hair in a hair versus hair match. I mean, that's almost like poetry in motion. And no, I'm not talking. I'm not talking the Hardys.
Yeah. So either way, I'm giving it to Grimes.
Okay, and that means our final match. I think this is going to be our main event for the week, for the pay-per-view. Our men's War Games match. Team Black and Gold, as they're being called apparently here. Tommaso Ciampa, Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight taking on Team 2.0. Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. This is our old versus new. It's the old NXT, the black and gold brand versus this colorful splish splash of the of paint. This is the match. Now, I think we did talk about this last week a bit. Johnny Gargano's extended his contract, similar to Adam Cole, like an extra week to make it through this matchup. But I think this one's a no-brainer. 2.0 is going over.
Yeah, you got That's exactly it. Got to do it, and probably Braun Breaker getting the decisive pin.
Braun Breaker getting the pin. I think he is our next NXT champion. When it happens, who knows? How it happens, who knows? But it really feels like he's going to be the guy, and deservingly so. Like we said before, he's been putting in hell of a lot of work lately. And looking, I mean, I guess this is it, right? If you're building a new brand with this new young talent that you want to bring up, eventually you got to drop the trigger, or, hit the trigger, drop the trigger, click the trigger, whatever you want to do. Eventually you got to put these guys in a position where it's like, yeah, they're winning now. And unfortunately, out of all these guys, I think I feel the worst for LA Knight. Coming in.
Like I said, I think it's weird that he's kind of on the old school NXT team. Because he's not that old school, but now he's babyface too.
But comparatively speaking, I think LA Knight's like 38 years old. Like he's deserves to be on the old team almost in that kind of thing, right? So that'll be our War Games. Very excited for our first pay-per-view from of 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, War Games matches, they always deliver, so that's going to be it's going to be a fun show to watch either way.
One hell of a show to watch, and I really can't wait. Well, then, let's finish off our show the way that we always do, is that we have to award a Wrestler of the Week.
With the Wrestler of the Week, Wrestler of the Week, of the Week, of the Week, the Wrestler of the Week, of the Week, of the Week, Wrestler of the Week, of the Week, of the Week, the Wrestler of the Week.
Mike, I'm going to kick this one off here for you. I was scrolling through YouTube, the fitness area of YouTube. Sometimes you like to watch guys doing new exercises. You're like, boom, I'm going to try that when I go to the gym. Things like that. You'll learn a lot along the way too. And eventually I found myself onto a series of videos on a channel by Eric Bugenhagen. Eric Bugenhagen? Who? I'm intrigued, so I press play. I'm intrigued mostly because I'm watching some dude deadlifting 810 pounds in his fucking garage. He's screaming, he's celebrating, he's bench pressing 400 pounds like it's nothing by himself. And as I click through the series of videos as they get newer and newer, his hair gets longer and longer. The string on his tank top gets thinner and thinner until I finally realize this isn't Eric Bugenhagen. No, this is Rick Boogs, baby. Rick Boogs, you're my wrestler of the week. I spent 15 minutes just watching this guy lift heavy weight in his garage. Oh, man, if you need any source of motivation just to get out of bed, Eric Bugenhagen lifting just fucking weight and screaming about it. Rick Boogs, fantastic. He posts a lot of fun. He's got a family, he's got a wife, he's got kids. He plays guitar sometimes in some of them. Real entertaining guy, hard worker, and a new YouTube channel that I can add to my rotation. So, Rick Boogs, Eric Bugenhagen, you are my wrestler of the week.
Well done, Mr. Boogs. I'll keep it to the in-ring stuff. There's a lot of good stuff, though. That NXT episode, there were both those ladder matches. But I'll give it to the one who stood out the most, because we haven't seen much. Kaylee Ray. Great showing in that ladder match. Getting the win.
Probably her biggest match here, at least on American soil.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. To everyone, can't wait for War Games this week. And thanks for listening, folks. You can rate, review, like, subscribe. The show is everywhere. Come back next week. We have all this whole War Games thing to talk about. By this time next week, Cameron Grimes could be as soft as a newborn baby.
Oh no!
Oh no is right. I certainly don't hope so. But of course, all that other wrestling action winter is coming, baby. And Mike, you take care of yourself.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.